Alright, my bad. Had to make sure that this was going. Alright. If you were in the live stream a minute ago and watched it, cool, thank you. There's some things that I did not touch on that after reviewing it I kind of realized I should start over. So we're going to kind of do it a little different this time. I started by unraveling it from a stored position and then explained how I have it set up. So I'm going to go backwards this time and explain the intake portion of this device, the way I have it set up. I give you some ideas that I employ, that I like to keep it quiet, and then I'll set it up. I'll wrap it up as if I'm going to store it away, either store it or sell it. However, you know, if this is something that you own and you eventually end up not using it anymore but you want to keep it, I'm going to show you a great way to be able to put it back into the box without having it being so bulky. It really folds up so compact, it's really nice. I'm also going to show you here the media that comes with. This is for a smaller unit. This is the 110. This is for the 50 or 70, I forget the number, but it's the same thing. You'll get a larger sponge and larger portions of these things for these baskets, but it's the same thing. You'll just get it times 2 because there's 2 baskets in the 110 unit. So real quick, this filter is in direct competition with Fluval's unit, the AC 110, I believe it is. I have one here, storage. I'll just give you a quick side by side of the 2 units. Here is the Fluval device, hang on back filter. I've got it all taped up because over time, heat and time, I really have no idea why, but the lid deformed and it didn't want to stay down. There's not a whole lot of space, really. Not much to really do in here. Whatever. They give you this, some enormous sponge that clogs up super fast. This, where it attaches to the motor, I don't like that very much. After, you know, it gets dirty and starts to show some age, this thing starts to I don't know. So I've had this about a year and a half, 2 years, and I want to say the same for this unit. This unit has held up quite a bit. I've used both units. The Fluval unit I took out of service before I took this TopFin out, and I have no plans on re-employing the Fluval, but I do really want to use this now after what I've done. I have to give the hugest shout out to Pondguru on YouTube. I'm telling you right now, if you have a filter, canister filter, that you want to do something really cool to and get maximum efficiency out of it, go check out his channel. He's got a playlist of Pimp My Filter, and he covers a huge range of companies and their offerings. It's great. So please go check him out. well worth it. Okay, so this is not part of what we're talking about today, as well as this lid here. Set this aside, get it out of the way. My apologies for my chair. Alright, so this is what they give you. Wow, look at this defect right from out of the box. I don't know if you can see that or not. The sponge is all bunched up right there. Like it's kind of hard there. There's no porosity there. It's almost like a glob of this. Wow. So it's like a medium density. You'll notice that it's white when you get it. If you use like a color enhancing food, you'll notice that it may turn red. Maybe that's because I feed a lot. I don't know. But yeah, they'll turn red if you use color enhancing food. So in case you're worried, that could be why. We'll go to the motor first, so I can set it out of the way, and it's pretty. It fits in gently. It's not bad to get in and out. You'll line it up, and you'll give her a twist, and that's it. In place. See? So you give a twist, and gently pull down, and it comes out. There is a O-ring gasket here that you want to keep an eye on. Make sure that's good and clean and never torn, because that's where a leak could occur. And then the impeller, just you grab one of the fins, gently pull it out, don't bend, straight up and out. Clean the magnet. If you got a small enough brush, you can get it in there and kind of clean out the inside of there. Gently slide it back down on the guide, and that's it. Pretty easy. Set this aside now, out of the way. This is the top of the skimmer, floats at the water, takes in the biofilm and plant matter and whatever else. There's the tube on the intake, which here's the intake. Slides out nice and easy, attaches down there. There's no guesswork on which way you need to put it in, like on the flue valves. Pretty self-explanatory which way it goes in. Very nice. Even this is pretty good. Alright, so the skimmer fits on here. Here's the elbow for the skimmer. If you don't want to use a skimmer, you can you can go ahead and place a piece of sponge within this hole. If you don't, you're not using the skimmer, you're risking pulling fish in there. If you have smaller fish, neon tetras and smaller, pencil fish will get in there, shrimp, heads of rasboras, like, I don't know, you don't want to risk it. So just place a sponge in there if you're not going to use the skimmer. Easy fix. And then you can leave it in there too, which anything that you pull in through the skimmer will get kind of stuck in there, and you know, it's not going to clog all that up. I understand that's what it's for, but I mean, it helps with longevity of your cleanouts, right? So it'll make it easier on your system. Anyway, all right, let's set this aside. We're done with this, and this is a pre-filter sponge. Connects on there like that into the unit. You can't set it up backwards. As I set it up backwards. Here we go. there it is, complete. So you have an intake, pre-filter sponge. You're gonna have your skimmer pre-filter sponge. So you got 2 stages right there, right off the bat. Set this aside. Alright, on to the good stuff here. Pondguru. If you ever see this, man, wow, you're a genius. So with his advice, I was able to find these foams on Amazon. It was $25 for a pack of 2 of each color. So we have black, green, and blue. So there's 2 sheets of black, 2 sheets of green, 2 sheets of blue for like 25 bucks. I don't know the porosity values of each sponge, but I could show you with light the difference. You'll be able to see it. So here we have these foams that you get from Amazon or wherever you get it from. Maybe your fish store has a pond section with these types of foams. You get them there. But they're like an egg crate design. Bumpy. Flat. And then if you could see through the light in the tank behind, you can see the level of transmission. You can see the densities. So I believe that I'm going to like to put the more porous foam first, then this one. I'll show you the blue ones in a minute. So you're going to take out your old foams. Now see what I mean about this is for the smaller version. It's not quite as tall, but if you were making this for the smaller version, you would just kind of put this on the foam, trace it out, cut it. I would go just a little bit extra, just, you know, because you can trim off, you can't add. So do that. Bumpy side out. However, you can do it however you want. And get these in there, get them to the bottom. Basically want to fill the whole cavity top to bottom. Alright, now we're going to move on to the basket. Sometimes, you know, after use, this basket gets wedged in there and it's like, oh, it's so hard to get out. Like, the bottom's all slimy and stuff. All you got to do, pull the foam up a bit, or you may even already have it out because you're cleaning. Just push from this side. Alright, assist it by coming out through like the middle of it, pushing out, pulling from the center here. It helps a lot, trust me. Okay, so on the top of the basket I've got polyfill, filter floss, whatever you use. You get this at your box store in a giant bag for like $4. It lasts forever. Alright, this is the next porosity of foam that they give you in the kit. Pretty dense. Hopefully you can see. It's nice. So I stack the egg crates like this, bumpy side against the flat side to add pockets to grab stuff. Alright, so you're gonna replace these into your basket. Bumpy side down, bumpy side down. Pack that filter floss in there. You could use less. I definitely wouldn't use more than this, you know, but you could definitely use less. Because I imagine that you'll be at least changing this probably once a week. Because this stuff gets clogged up pretty quick. I would honestly change this once a week. Or at least look at it and, you know, judge for yourself and change it as needed. So, see, I didn't really need that much in there, but I don't know, I do it anyway. I guess the more you put in, the more you're gonna hinder the flow. So I guess maybe less is better in this case, especially if you're gonna be changing it so often. So that's up to you. user discretion there. You're going to slide the unit back together, and foam's in place. And there you go. So what I believe they want you to do is have this here. I don't remember if this is supposed to go here and then charcoal on top, or vice versa, but they're giving you not too many stages of cleaning, or filtering rather. So when we get to the top basket here, you have options. You can put some charcoal in there and then top it off with bio, or put the bio there and charcoal on top, however you want to do it. I don't use charcoal at all, so I prefer lava rock in these. You could use what you like. You could use these bio rings. You could fill it up quite a bit. There's a lot of space in there now for rings. These are the bulk rings that you can get off Amazon. Just some ceramic, and they're porous, very small holes in there, so they won't hold as much beneficial bacteria as you'd like, but they do work. They do, and they will. So there you go. You replace your basket. Make sure that these lips are folded inward. Replace your basket. And they give you these waterfall grates. There's one with holes, there's one with a slit. I guess I like the one with the holes because I lost the other ones. But I prefer the one with the holes anyway. And this is not enough filter floss to really show you, but you'll get the idea after I do this. This last bit here I like to put filter floss, and in a minute I'm going to give you an example why and the reasons why it's good to put some there. So there you go. There's the unit pretty much set up how you would want to put it into the tank or into service. Sorry. Alright, let's get this motor back on here, and I'm going to show you how I like to wrap the cord. You're probably like, dude, just wrapping a cord, man. And you could honestly just remove the motor and, you know, put all the pieces in the box and stuff. But what I like to do is just disassemble it all the way down. You're not going to really be storing that in there, right? Break it down. These pieces fit in the basket on top. You'll probably have your bio ring soaking somewhere else, right? And then you're able to kind of just sort of angle this in there, right, on the lid that is supposed to tell you when your flow is affected, which in turn is telling you when you should clean your media inside. I noticed this thing was so touchy that it was just saying that it was dirty right immediately after I've cleaned it, so it's very annoying in that regard. But the worst thing about it is that it has like this plastic dome over another plastic piece inside of here, and the tolerance between the two pieces was enough that the movement from the motor created a vibration here, and it would just rattle, and it seriously was so obnoxious. I hated it. So you get a small flathead screwdriver. There's a way to pry it out. Just be very gentle and take your time, see how it's in there and what you have to do, and it'll make sense, trust me. Alright, so we have all of our pieces inside of the unit here. We're ready to store it. Let's say you're breaking it down and you're moving to a new place and you're bringing this, and you still have your box. That'd be great. I don't have my box. It took on water damage and I had to throw it away. But by doing this, you'll be able to use your box no problem. And there's a way to wrap this now, this cord. And forgive me if I go the wrong way the first time, because I just recently started doing this. I used to really neglect this filter, to be honest, until I found this Pondguru filter sponge modification. And then when I did it, I just honestly, I learned a new love for this filter, and so, you know, I feel bad that I neglected it. So don't do that to yours. They're expensive, and these things are great. We need these things. So you'll see that there's little gaps in between the motor and the body, right? You can, yeah, we're going to start from the back, go over the top. You're going to bring the cable through the side of the motor and the body, go over, go to the other side, turn the wire sideways so it's the thin part, and get it up through there. Great, I did it the right way the first time. You're going to have just enough slack now that it brings the plug to the input intake here, and you can just gently walk it into the input here. So it keeps your plug safe. There's just enough slack where you're not putting too much of a bend on the wire, creating a problem there. In turn, it holds your lid nice and snug on the top with all your goodies inside. And you just slide this into the box, close her up. There you go. I assume that the upgrade with the sponges is going to be a great thing, and it's going to take this from an otherwise 7 of a filter to a whole 10. I really think that this thing's going to be amazing, and I believe that this is one of the last filters. Don't quote me on it, but this thing is totally customizable with these baskets the way they are, so it's nice that we still have that. Some companies are trying to force us to use their things by making it so hard to be able to do this to their things that it's, you know, it's kind of crazy, but it is what it is. That's how they make their money. Alright, so let's move on over to one that I'm using right now. Hey, what's up, bud? Sorry. Hey, you. As you can see, I do not have a sponge on that. I don't have any sponges. There's no sponge in the elbow, there's no sponge on the intake, and you can see it's quite a mess. It allows all that stuff to go up and in, making it clog up even faster, and you can expect to clean it so much more. So we're going to go up to the top here, remove the lid, which, as you can see, I took the float out of. Alright, I use lava rock in this one, as you can see. I really like that. Pretty nice. So when it gets clogged up, it'll tend to want to divert. As you can see, the factory sponge that they give you is clogged up pretty good. What's to be expected? I've got big fish in here, it's dirty, whatever, but I think if I had some options here, it would do better. So anyway, when it's clogged up, it tends to divert. So we'll just kind of ignore this sponge now, and excuse me, half of what you're taking in is going to be put right back into the tank, defeating the purpose really. But it's good that it's there, otherwise it would overflow. And if you let this go too long and this starts to back up, you can imagine this is going to overflow. It's happened to me before. You don't want this to happen, so you need to stay on top of this if you do this, okay? You really do. Trust me. You don't want this stuff getting on your floor. Okay, so 2 reasons I use the filter floss is to catch the bypass water there, and you'll see when I pull it up, it flosses it, so it does kind of filter it a little. So at least it's getting a little filtration before going back in. And then the second reason I use it is for noise. So we're feeding 2 birds, 1 cracker. This is the cracker. Ready? Listen. It's so obnoxious. And then if your water level is lower in the tank, it's even louder. You may love that, you know, and I used to love it until I didn't. I have a lot of tanks in my house, and you know, this gets overwhelming sometimes. I just kind of want it quiet once in a while. So you're gonna replace the filter floss, and I changed this last night, mind you, so you can see how well it works. And once it absorbs enough water, it'll let it fall into the tank more gentle, and definitely quiets it down quite a bit. There you go. Very nice. So I don't have this set up exactly the way they want. Obviously I'm not using the pre-filter sponges. I am using this, but I don't know if you can see that where it's kind of angled down. It starts to deteriorate, and I don't know, I've had to replace, this is like my 3rd set, and I've had this about 2 years. It's kind of annoying. So hopefully Pondguru's mod here is going to make this way better. And then on the bottom in the basket, bottom tray in the basket, I have just a chunk of sponge from some bulk sponge that I got from Petco, and there's pretty dense porosity, to be honest, so that's why this thing sort of backs up pretty quick. These sponges allow themselves to be gunked up quick. So I will modify this eventually, and this will be awesome too. And there's one last thing I want to touch on before we finish up. What's up, Abby? Can I give a room tour? Sorry, I wasn't looking at my phone. I was looking at the filter. This comes out. Let me reset the tripod here. Hold on. This unit comes out there's a little, I can't show you now because the lid is on there, but there's a little indent here that you can get your thumbnail under, and you kind of lift with your thumb as you're pulling and twisting upward, and there's an O-ring in here that you could service if you start to notice anything like bubbling here, leaking, whatever. There's an O-ring there. And you can only put it in one way, so you can't put it in backwards. Easy. So that's it. Alright, you want a room tour? I'll give you a short one. Here's my 40 breeder. I've got probably 700 or 800 red rilly shrimp in there. It's got a little bit of a bloom going on right now. It's kind of annoying, but I'll get it eventually. I don't know if you can see them or not, but some of them are out grubbing. Red rilly colony. I got one cherry shrimp in there. I got a couple cherry shrimps in there. There's a few babies in there, but somehow they ended up in here. I've got another tank with some cherries in it that I'm trying to get them to make a colony. Alright, over here we got our Rosy Barb collection. Love these guys. This tank is, I don't know, I think that Java moss is starting to crash. That used to take over, but I'll get that sorted as well. No worries. Got some neon tetras in there with them. They've all been living together for years. Got Pro Gourami in there temporarily. Get them, but they're cool. Down there I got a couple of killifish that I collected from a pond. Local killifish. Yeah. Got some peacock cichlids. Got some severums. This is the tank I'm starting a cherry shrimp colony in. Can't really see it, I don't have light on it. But there's one there. This is my Blue Dream colony I'm working on. Here's Cindy. You see that little birthmark on her lip like Cindy Crawford has? Huh? So this is Cindy Crawfish. Come on, that's funny. I got dad jokes for days. Well, this is my flower horn Cindy. I've had her about 4 years now. She's awesome. She's my homie. Got her from my cousin. This one doesn't have anything in it. Just something I threw together for an old co-worker. I was gonna sell it, but I decided I wanted to keep it because I like it. Down here I've got a Jack Dempsey and Bouzaire Frontosa, 7-bar Frontosa. If I turn the light on, they're gonna freak out, so I'm not doing it. Sorry. You can kind of see my female Jack Dempsey right here. These are just temporary homes because I help people rehome fish, so I'm just kind of fostering these guys for now until they can find new homes. The Frontosa was in with flower horn, and they used to argue a lot, so I had to pull them out, separate them. I mean, and this is the only option I have, is this 40 breeder, and they get along. They just stay to their own half, and that's it. But they're both showing color, so in my opinion that's telling me that they're not too upset about it. There he is. Yeah, he's about 2.5, 3 years old maybe. These guys take a long time to grow. He started out as like a 2-inch fish. Yeah. Alright. One Severin's a little sick, but got a really nice red shoulder right there. I love that one. Not colored up right now. I got a smaller red shoulder, some golds, some turquoise, and they're hiding out in there. You can't really see them that great, but I've got some blue spot Corridora in there. All these cichlids in here. I got a mix in there that, you know, I got some guys in there that maybe shouldn't be in there, like that firemouth and maybe that convict, and there's more, but they don't fight, they get along. Firemouths don't breed, and it's whatever. The convict doesn't have another convict to breed in here and take over. So yeah, hold up. Another tank I took in for someone. You couldn't have it anymore, so I adopted it, I guess. I got an upside down catfish in there and a red tail shark. They're hopefully one of them, the red tail shark, is getting home on Wednesday. We'll see. Got 2 giant angels in here. Some black tetra and some blue tetras, some yo-yo loaches, a bunch of cories that I raised, some Julii cories. I breed and raise those myself. Got some cherry barbs in there, a black lace, and a platinum angel. Mollies in there. They love eating the hair algae. If you got hair algae, try some mollies. More cories. Just chilling. We put a sweet potato up in there, and this thing's going nuts. Alright, moving on. Let's go. What's up? More tetras, Congo tetras, black phantom tetra. I got 1 rummy nose left in there. Sarpe. I put these guys, these rosy barbs, in there because I was having a problem with hair algae in here, and they obviously, look at that, they cleared it up. You might not have known what it looked like before, but it was bad. It was bad, and they chowed it. And in here I got, this light sucks, a little Sunny in here. Not showing him very long. I got some of my electric blue cars in this. I got a whole tank of them growing out in the basement. These are some siblings and the parent. Well, the dad. Yeah. Over here I have another attempt at some cherry shrimp and more red willies backup tank. A friend of mine set this up for me. It's Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta tribute tank. Video games. Then we have this thing, just kind of tossed together. Here's some rasboras, some harlequins, pork chops, and purple in there. All good. Now over here, oh, bad. I got this little cube I set up, just tossed together again. I got some scissor or pencil fish in there, just chilling. Yo, my battery's about to die, so be warned. We'll run downstairs real quick. 75-gallon growing out EBAs. The blue Acara parents in here separated because I don't have space for them to breed on me yet. Peacock cichlids growing out. Electric blue acaras growing out. Really awesome guppies starting to fill up in there. Feeder guppies. More shrimp. Growing out corridors. More electric blue acaras